Hey everyone, so I want to talk to you today about the power of numbers and the impact that our number on numbers can have on how we feel about certain things. So, without being too cryptic, I'm just going to get into the story. So, for those of you that don't know, I published a course with LinkedIn around closing the pay gap, and it's called Inclusive Tech Closing Pay Gap. And because I'm the creator, they send me like a dashboard that I can look at and I can see, how many people have liked it, how many people have shared it, etc. So when it came out, I would be looking at it every day and I'd see the numbers like creeping up slowly, but in my mind they were creeping up too slowly. And after a couple of weeks, I was a bit like, oh, only 15 people have shared this course and only 7 people had liked it. And so I was starting to make up all sorts of stories in my head. And I was like, this is the worst course in the history of LinkedIn courses. And I was like telling myself, they're going to send me an email to say, this is officially the worst course in the history of LinkedIn courses and never darken our doors ever again and all this stuff. So I was feeling all of these feelings, but I kept them to myself. I didn't talk to anyone about them. Didn't talk to my partner. No, when I was just like, okay, well, maybe it didn't hit the mark and it's a lesson. At least you get to say that you did one, even though it's clearly rubbish because nobody's doing it. Then, a couple of weeks later, I get a message popped up from LinkedIn saying, congratulations on your 500th learner. And I was like, what? But I was looking at the data and it said like 15 people have shared it. I don't understand. So I went back to the email that they sent me with the dashboard. And then I realised that because I'd been looking at it on my phone, I hadn't scrolled down to the bottom. And underneath there, it gives you more information. And the information that's important is how many learners have taken the course and then how many people have downloaded and shared their certificates. And there was the number like 502 or something. And I was so relieved. I was instantly relieved. I felt validated. I was like, I knew it wasn't rubbish. And I was getting myself into a tiz. But here's the thing, I was getting myself into a tiz because I was looking at A, the wrong number, but B, I was making it mean something that clearly wasn't true. And I see this a lot with organizations looking at their pay gaps. They look at the number and it's like, I don't know, 25%, 30%, 40%, whatever, high numbers. And they were like, clutching pearls and just like, oh, this is the worst ever. And I always have to say to organizations, and maybe I should take my own medicine, that it's a number, but you have to understand it in context. And, I'm always talking to organizations and reminding them that this is just one way to measure a aspect of what's happening in your organization. And that you shouldn't be so fixated on the end number. It's about representation in your organization and the experience that people have being, a woman in your organization. Like, can they progress in their career as well as the men? And if they can't, well, why is that? And it's very rarely anything personal. It's usually to do with systems and issues. So this video is to remind you that if you are one of those organizations that has a high gender pay gap and you're all like in a tiz because the number looks bad and everyone's going to say bad things about you and everyone's going to hate you and nobody will ever come to work for you again and you're going to lose all of your female talent and it's going to make your pay gap worse, I'm here to tell you to breathe. I'm here to tell you that it's a number, but it's what you make it. You need to use it in the context of other measures of success. You need to use it in the context of what is happening elsewhere in your organization. So if you fall into that category and you need some support to develop an action plan that's going to focus on the things that need to change in your organization, and the byproduct, not the end goal, the byproduct will be that your pay gap data, the pay gap percentage drops. If you need support in creating your action plan, then I want you to get in touch. I want you to stop fixating on that number and start fixating on the things that you can and should be doing in your organization. So all you need to do is you can comment below, or if you want to send me a DM privately, I can send you a link to my diary and we can have a chat about how we can get you off focusing the number and get you focused on doing and implementing the actions that are going to make the real change in your organization. So that's it from me. Hope to speak to you soon. Ciao, ciao.